After the Star Wars phenomenon exploded in 1977, audiences were starved for more. The hype was massive. Toys were selling out, fan clubs were booming, and anticipation for The Empire Strikes Back was already building. CBS came to the rescue and announced a 2-hour Star Wars TV event. Hi, I'm Alex, and welcome back to Star Wars Relics. Today I'm going to do my dive into the much maligned Star Wars Holiday Special. If you haven't, should you watch it? What does it contribute to the Star Wars universe? Is there anything redeeming about it? Thanks to the image on the red snaggletooth card, which is from the Holiday Special, I had to watch it. Again, for the first time this millennium. If you've never seen the Star Wars Holiday Special, you really should pause this video and go watch it right now. It's on YouTube. I'll wait. Done? If you just got back from watching it, you're welcome. I first found out about the Holiday Special in the early 2000s at my local comic shop. I spotted a VHS tape sitting in the display case, which immediately caught my attention. This was the DVD era, after all. Why was a tape getting this kind of prime display space? I asked Rich, the shop owner, what was up with that. He told me that it was a copy of the Star Wars Holiday Special, and for him, the real selling point was that this version came with all the original commercials. He had me at Star Wars, and I bought it. I made it about 20 or 30 minutes in and turned it off. The special begins with the Millennium Falcon escaping a planet, chased by Star Destroyers. Han reassures Chewie that he will get him to his family in time for Life Day. We then get a crawl of sorts that turns into a typical TV intro. We are then introduced to Chewie's family. Itchy sets up Lumpy with the mini holo circus. Mala worries about Chewie and starts calling friends, starting with Luke. Mala then contacts Sondan, a human trader who lets her know Chewie is on his way. With her mind at ease, Mala begins working on the Life Day feast. Han and Chewie are still trying to get away from the Empire. The Empire then announces a blockade of Kashyyyk, putting the Life Day celebrations in jeopardy. Sondan arrives at their home and gives everyone presents for Life Day. He sets Itchy up in their virtual headset. Mala receives a call from Leia. Han and Chewie eventually do arrive on Kashyyyk, just as the Empire begins searching homes. Chewie's family begins hiding any rebellion connections. We then get this, including lightsaber microphones. While the search of the residents continues, Lumpy watches an animated adventure. The search concludes and we cut to Mos Eisley and the Cantina, when a curfew is imposed on all of Tatooine. When we return to Kashyyyk, we see that Lumpy was able to trick the Empire into leaving. The lone remaining stormtrooper catches on and chases Lumpy outside, just as Han and Chewie arrive. Han throws the trooper off the tree. The special finally ends with the Life Day celebration. And that, mercifully, is it. Fans were starving for Star Wars, and unfortunately for them, it was the late 70s. You've got to remember the first video store had only just opened in 1977, renting out VHS tapes and Betamax. Blockbuster wouldn't exist until 1985, and A New Hope wouldn't hit home video until 1982. So yeah, people were desperate for any way to revisit the galaxy far, far away. But not like this. Even though I'm sure CBS thought they were giving fans exactly what they wanted, what fans really wanted was a true continuation of the movie. Maybe a new adventure with Luke, Han, and Leia. They expected more groundbreaking effects, more droids and aliens, and that same cinematic magic just brought to television. What aired on November 17, 1978 was something else entirely. The special was produced quickly on a TV variety show budget, not a film budget. George Lucas had a loose story concept about Chewbacca's family celebrating Life Day, but CBS filled it out with musical numbers, sketch comedy bits, and celebrity guest appearances with B. Arthur, Art Carney, and Harvey Korman. The first 10 minutes are almost entirely Wookiee dialogue with no subtitles. There were a few bright spots. The animated segment that introduced Boba Fett was probably received the best, and the use of real cast members, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford, all appeared. But overall, CBS delivered something that felt like a weird hybrid of Star Wars and 70s TV variety culture, which didn't mix well. Critics almost universally panned it. The Washington Post called it embarrassing, while the New York Times described it as a wretched piece of banality. Viewers were bewildered, especially kids, expecting space battles and instead getting B. Arthur singing in the Mos Eisley Cantina. George Lucas was reportedly furious, later saying, "If I had time and a sledgehammer, I'd track down every copy and smash it." My first thought is, man, were they lucky there was no internet back then. Could you imagine the thumbnails? George Lucas destroyed Star Wars. CBS breaks Star Wars. But is there anything redeeming about the holiday special? Yes, but you really have to look for it. At the top of the list, I'd say, is the introduction of Boba Fett. It's done in that classic 1970s cartoon style, and honestly, it holds up surprisingly well. I also want to highlight the miniature circus segment. Sure, it looks cheesy now, but at the time, it was cutting-edge special effects and looked incredible on TV. The problem was what they did with it. Instead of something thrilling or imaginative, we got a group of tiny circus performers doing fairly mediocre acrobatics. After all, this was apparently what a Wookiee would want to watch? Beyond that, they actually get some of the technology surprisingly right. We see an early glimpse of a flat-screen TV, and Itchy uses what's essentially a VR headset. They have their own version of FaceTime. There's a questionable cooking class over their version of Zoom. A traffic tracking website pops up, though it's about as unreliable as you'd expect from Imperial tech. One officer carries a handheld device that feels straight out of Star Trek's tricorder playbook. And there are even video assembly instructions in place of a printed manual. We meet Chewbacca's family. His father Itchy, short for Atichitkuk, his wife Mala, short for Mala Tobuk, and his son Lumpy, short for Lampawaru. All three characters went on to appear in Legends, but so far only Lumpy has been reintroduced into canon, leaving Mala and Itchy in a sort of Schrodinger's canon state, neither confirmed nor denied. I can only imagine that George Lucas was so busy with everything else that he never got around to asking CBS exactly what they were planning. It's clear the people in charge at CBS tried hard, but they were the wrong people for the job. They were seasoned TV producers, not Star Wars fans, and they just didn't get Star Wars. Sure, they had the costumes, the special effects, the original cast, but nobody was asking for a Star Wars variety show. They fell victim to sky-high expectations and completely missed the tone of the galaxy far, far away. And yet, in an ironic twist, it ended up being so bad that it's achieved cult classic status, a bizarre piece of Star Wars history. For me, the big takeaway is this: if Star Wars could faceplant this hard back in 1978 and still turn out just fine, then I think Disney Star Wars will be okay too. So, what did you think of my Star Wars Holiday Special review? Did you already unsubscribe? Catch it when it originally aired? Have fond memories? Or were you able to repress it entirely? I want to hear your stories in the comments. If all this has you wanting to talk to a professional, I want to remind everyone that at Fresh Solutions Therapy, we have the team to help you through your tougher moments, including any holiday special childhood trauma. I just want to point out that I had to watch the holiday special 2 more times to finish this episode, so I really hope you all appreciate the effort. It wasn't easy. If you liked what you saw here, please subscribe, hit the like button, and leave a comment. Until next time, take care.